tremendous job. And now she's, she continually just pounds the pavement, getting things going. And so thank you, Jay, for all your hard work and trying to help our businesses, and as well as the Chamber of Commerce. And they do a wonderful job as well. We appreciate all their hard work, especially helping our small business and community. And we got to thank Isaiah and Chloe from your office for helping us get this thing going. Without their help, I don't think we could have accomplished what we've done within these past 2 months. So we want to make sure that we're acknowledged, both Chloe and Isaiah, to get this thing going.
Absolutely. And I think going forward too, I'm hopeful that we will be able to continue our meetings and continue disseminating information. We are just, of course, kind of launching one of the ideas that I have going forward would be to do sort of an informal with our mentors. We have quite a few people who have agreed to mentor, and just sort of like coffee and chat with the mentors, because they have unbelievable business advice. So we really haven't had anybody reach out directly looking for mentorship yet, but I think that even just having our mentors as a panel would be really helpful for all of us to, just hear how to navigate businesses during challenging times. I mean, that is something that is on everybody's mind right now as we all try to adjust to the shift in the economy and just in behavior and consumer behaviors in general. So, and I think with that, I think we've got enough people in the room, so we'll go ahead and just get going, as it is 10 o'clock, and I know that our panelists are all very busy. We just want to welcome you all this morning. We are live on Zoom. We are recording this as well, so it can be shared at a later date. And we just wanted to talk a little bit today about how, everything is changed since our last webinar when we announced the Mesa Cares Small Business Reemergence Program. We are lucky to have some of the members of our economic development team, the director and assistant director, here with us today also to give us updates on that. Just a housekeeping issue: if you do have a question, please do send it over to our chat area, and which there is a chat button in your Zoom profile, and then we have people standing by that will go ahead and take a look at that and alert council member and I, so that we can answer your questions or let you open up your mic so that you can speak with us directly. And so with that, I'd like to welcome Council Member Luna from District 5 here in Northeast Mesa. He's been a strong champion of business in our community, and also championed economic development, been working very hard, as I mentioned before, in the last few months to help our district and our city through this really difficult time. And so Council Member Luna, let me turn it over to you.
Great, thank you, Natasha. First of all, I want to thank Natasha for being my co-host of this presentation. Natasha and I had an idea a few months ago about convening something in District 5, and then we had this pandemic, and go, well, probably it's like the best time to convene businesses and residents in District 5 to let them know that we're here and that we're feeling, and many of us are feeling their pain. And we want to have a conversation how we can continue to move forward. I know it's a very difficult time. We've certainly experienced both state and local economic downturns, but we want to be able to share and have an exchange in terms of ideas of what you're doing with relative to your business. Again, we want to thank everyone that participated in the initial webinar, and we want to continue doing these kind of webinars. And I appreciate Chloe as well as Isaiah's for putting this webinar together, as well as for those other individuals that are present today that can talk about what's happening here in the city of Mesa relative to economic development. So for those that are first-time participants, thank you for participating. We appreciate your voice. We want to hear from you. We want you to let us know what's going on. And if you have any issues, this is an opportunity for you to talk about them, because we want to be able to support you and help you solve some of the problems that are occurring relative to what's happening in our business communities as we move forward. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Natasha, who will introduce our guests.
Thank you so much, Council Member. I appreciate the introduction again. And today we're joined by Bill Jabginiak, who's the City of Mesa Economic Development Director, Jay O'Donnell, who's the City of Mesa Assistant Economic Development Director and has been really leading a lot of the small business reemergence program through Mesa Cares. And then Sally Harrison, who is the President and CEO of the Mesa Chamber of Commerce, who works tirelessly for our business community on every front. I really don't think she ever sleeps. She's always out there and out in front for our businesses. We're so glad to have you all here, and we're going to start with our City of Mesa Economic Development Director, Bill Jabginiak, who has been incredibly busy. We're really looking forward to an update from you, Bill. So take it away.
Thanks, Natasha. Thank you, council member. It's good to see you. For those who don't know, and we're going to share a presentation here in just a second, but you know, the council member has been working remote as well. His council meetings, you can watch them on Zoom, and it's quite interesting to see everybody work remotely. But the economic development staff has been doing that as well, and we're anxious to actually get back into the office starting next week. But in the last 3 months, we left the office the week of the 16th of March, and there's been a lot actually going on. And what I'd like to actually touch on are probably 10 or 12 different projects, and some I can talk more about than others, typical economic development projects where you can, you are under non-disclosure agreements, but other things that I think that the presentation will speak for itself. So Isaiah, thank you for your help in putting that together, and why don't you throw that up on the screen, and let's go ahead and share that, and we can talk our way through some of this. So the first project, contact information. So next slide is a nice zoom in on things here as we go down to, so NAMO Defense Systems. So NAMO actually is located north of the 202, both at Higley and at Greenfield. And what we've been able to work with, and the economic development staff has been very busy on business outreach, and combined, we were just talking about this morning at a staff meeting, we had over 200 outreaches to the existing business community, just touching base, how you doing, you need anything, what's going on. But what we're finding is some of the bigger companies have actually been ready to expand, and they're going forward. And that's what the great story here in the last almost 3 months, you see a lot of expansion opportunities. So this is the first one. NAMO Defense is actually going to put up 6 small buildings. You won't really see them, but they do a lot of work in the defense industry, that, you know, different items that are needed in planes and in parachutes and other things. So 6 small things, adding about $30 million of capital investment to the area, and as well as about 30 to 40 jobs in the first phase. So that'll be exciting on the first one. Let's go to the next slide. And you're going to have fun zooming out and zooming over to the Falcon Field area, which is great, because, you know, we announced right before things that on Falcon Field, and this is one of the biggest investments Falcon has seen, period, is really a lot of hangar space being developed. Well, that hasn't stopped. There's a live photo of what some of the construction site looks like from this past weekend. I was out taking pictures a little bit, but you're going to see several hangars being developed on the field. Look at all that equipment that's going strong. So on airfield, that will be, I think, a big asset and give us the opportunity to continue to grow in and around Falcon Field. Go ahead, Isaiah, to the next slide. Now, if you know where you're flying to, you can actually get an idea of where you zip off to along the way. But so now we've gone south of Falcon, about 48th Ingram on the north corner. Is actually building a big new building, and I'm going to encourage anybody to go take a ride by this, because it looks like it should be on the airport. This really doesn't do it justice to show you how wide of a building it is. That's a clear span. They build obviously roof structures inside there and then haul them away on semi trucks. So that's been an item that got approved right before the pandemic. They could have hit the brakes, but have been pushing forward. And we expect that completion for later this year. But that's a big asset to south of the airfield in that industrial areas, in right there, 48th and Ingram. So then next is literally right across the street. And to the south is actually the Mitsubishi Chemical facility, their advanced materials facility, and it looks like that. That is now complete. That is occupied. So you can see their technology center that's there. They're making components that are used, and they were really thrilled with the whole rebranding that took place several years ago. Jay and the council member were very supportive of, and really Jay led that effort to really rebrand the entire Falcon district, not just the field, but the district. And how do we add more jobs, and how do we continue to grow the area in such a way that really provides quality jobs for our residents. So that's up and going, and I think is a great asset that she's taken note of as well. Let's go a little bit to the east from there. And I think we're gonna zip over to Higley and Ingram. That's the little insert there shows a picture of the entire building. And Mesa as a whole is seeing a lot of interest in electric vehicles. Well, Atlas, ATLIS, electric vehicle manufacturer, has taken about 40,000 square feet in this building. It's hard to see in that picture, but the name is above the door. They're still in the process of actually occupying. They have slowed down a touch because of the pandemic, but anxious to keep going. And I will tell you, there are 2 other electric vehicle manufacturers in the city looking for space. That's an industry of opportunity for us to continue to focus on. But some of these new buildings are being occupied, and I think that's a big plus for us as well. Go ahead, Isaiah, to the next one. Where are we going to? So this is out on Higley itself. There's a construction photo. Building's been done now, and the fence is down. We're actually seeing some tenant activity. There's nothing there I can announce today, but we're starting to see tenant activity. This is right on Higley at the corner of Ingram, and basically going south from Ingram towards Indigo. And you'll see, I think there's multiple tenants that are going to occupy in that space. So there's a lot of new construction, a lot of great, and build it and they will come. And that's exactly what's happening, as the vast majority of our leads are looking for existing buildings. So as we then go north on Higley, up just a little bit further, and I just want to mention the Boeing companies, and I've got nothing to really show you here, but Boeing is in expansion mode. What you read nationally, Boeing's making cuts. That's to the fixed wing programs. They're at 4,600 employees today. That's up dramatically. That is expected to continue to grow very, very methodically, but they are in expansion mode, looking at a brand new building on their campus, which will be substantial and really work in the composites area. So that'll be a big plus to add to the Boeing workforce, and one of our biggest employers in the city. So big bonus. And then how many of you in this next photo know this building literally across the street from the Boeing facility is this Longbow Gateway 1 facility. It's 150,000 square feet. It sits right up there, and we've had a couple of different users looking at it, and I know a few others have been engaged. Well, I can tell you, and this is one we are under a non-disclosure with, there's some great activity on this building. We're talking about 600 jobs. Anxious to see this go forward, but hopefully by the start of the 4th quarter of this year, so think of it, that's October 1 roughly, you're going to see that start to ramp up and be occupied, which is a big plus for us going that direction. And on the north side of this property is Longbow Parkway, and if you take Longbow Parkway and go east, just past the entrance to the golf course, there's the hotel that you see in the insert that's there. That is, I'm glad to say, under construction. You see the hotel towers being built there in the main entryway with a little bit of steel. So as this took a while because of drainage concerns to get actually out of the ground, but here it is now starting to go up, and I think what we're seeing is some exciting interest in this area because of the new construction with the hotel as the first phase, and we certainly have another retail component they're talking about as well as an office component. You will see that. I'm almost 100% sure you'll see that slow down just because of the pandemic for sure. So then the next stop is literally right up the street at the corner in the Sprouts Shopping Center, right on the entryway. Just to let everybody know, Sunboroughs is now open for business. They literally were wrapping up as this thing hit, wrapping up construction. So that little shopping center, the demographics that are there is done very well. It is staying full. And I think there's one or two other pads. I think there's one in front of Fat Cats that has been spoken for. There's one more there as well. Fat Cats is getting open. So we're anxious to see that whole shopping center continue to develop from there. And then I think last but not least, we're going to zoom out a little bit further. And just to have a little fun with this, out on Power Road, council member, you're getting a Kentucky Fried Chicken. Can you believe that? Just south of University, right next to the car wash, you're getting a KFC. And I just wanted to let that part of Power Road know there is activity out there besides some of the housing development. So I think that's the wrap up on my presentation.
Bill, that is just so great. Council member, I'm sure you have a few words you'd like to say. I'll turn it to you for a minute.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bill, for that update. When Bill means non-disclosure, he won't even tell me. So thank you for keeping it under wraps. I'm just excited that we're getting a lot of activity in that area. It's exciting to see that economic development is happening in District 5 in the city of Mesa. So I attributed that to our excellent staff, to Bill and Jay and their team as they continue to work very hard for the city of Mesa to continue to keep economic development growing in the north part of community. I know they work throughout the city of Mesa. I'm a little biased, we want to make sure we have a lot of activity in District 5, and we can certainly see that evidence by Bill's presentation. So thank you, Bill. Thank you, Jay, for all you do for the Falcon District and for all our communities. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, council member. And I think also I'd like to add to that, for a lot of the businesses economic development is kind of a long process. So the Falcon Business District, that district was established several years ago with vision and strategic planning, and then there was branding. And so that has, that foresight. And so economic development is always about foresight and looking ahead. And that's one of the reasons also that we started the Falcon Business Alliance is we're looking ahead a couple of years. Like, where do we need to be as a collective of businesses 2 to 3 years down the road? And so you're joining us at the infancy, but really we have, great plans as we grow as a district and as an area with a lot more businesses joining, this part of our community there that are significant. We'll be able to do great things as a group. So thank you to our awesome economic development team for always looking ahead, and our council member also. It's just so important to attract and also retain the businesses that we have here. And with that, we're going to move on to the Assistant Director of Economic Development, Jay O'Donnell, who is going to tell us a little bit more about the Mesa Cares program. If you had a chance to apply for a small business reemergence grant, please do tell us in the chat. We're interested to see, who was able to apply, if you found the process, workable. And I know that application process has closed, but Jay has some updates on what is coming up next. So go ahead, Jay. Thank you.
Thank you, Natasha, and thank you, Councilmember Luna, for hosting. Really appreciate the opportunity to be here. As mentioned, I've been working with a team of people at the City of Mesa, as well as our external partners, including the Mesa Chamber of Commerce, to organize and coordinate the Mesa Cares Small Business Reemergence Program. And this program is actually a three-prong approach, or a three-legged stool, as we like to say. There is the grant program, which is one prong, and that program has closed, but I'll just give you a quick update on that. And then there's the technical assistance piece. And then to sort of move into a phase 3, we are also conducting a local marketing campaign and a visitor marketing campaign to hopefully accelerate the recovery of the visitor industry. So I'll just give you a quick update on the grant. I think, as many of you know, it was a program that you had to apply to receive the funding. It was open for 2 weeks and applications closed on May 24th. I will be providing a results and recommendations presentation to council tomorrow morning at study session. Just broadly, I can let you know that there were 2,599 people who requested the application online, and then there were 1,882 who actually started filling out the application, and then 846 of those actually completed the application from start to finish and formally submitted it. So tomorrow I will provide the council with recommendations and hopefully get direction to go ahead and award more than 500 businesses. And when you look at the demographics of those businesses, they are very, very small. There's a very tiny percentage of businesses who are larger than 50 employees. So we were very pleased with who was responding to the program, and then obviously those who are awarded funding, because it definitely hit our target market. We did promote this program heavily with help from the Mesa Chamber of Commerce. I wanted to just thank them for their help, as well as the Asian Chamber of Commerce, Phoenix, East Valley, Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and Rail Mesa. They did a great job of helping us get the word out. And then in some cases, staff with those organizations were helping their stakeholders fill out the application online. We did have applications published in Chinese, Vietnamese, as well as Spanish. Moving on to the technical assistance program. This is a program that we also are asking businesses to apply online, but we're actually expanding the program to include many more businesses in Mesa. If you are a home-based business, you may apply. Even if you did receive CARES funding in the form of PPP or EIDL, you may also apply for technical assistance. And then we're also allowing franchisees to apply as well. So if you or a business that you know of is in need of business planning or coaching, IT services, maybe a business that you know of doesn't have a website, or they need a web refresh, perhaps they need some signage in their retail store or their restaurant that helps guide people through to maintain social distancing. So they need those stickers on the floor, or they need some health and safety equipment like PPE. Those are the kinds of things that we will be providing to the businesses. And the way we've set up this program, we're partnering with not-for-profit organizations in Mesa who work regularly with the business community, particularly with small businesses. And so, for example, we'll be partnering with A New Leaf in Cahoots, Local First, the Mesa Chamber of Commerce, to deliver various pieces of the program. When you go online to the technical assistance application, you will be asked as a business to rank your priorities in order of what you want to receive first. And there are 33 choices. So we're really excited to launch this program. It's available, at least the information is available right now at mesaaz.gov/caresbiz, B-I-Z, Tech Assist. And I'll go ahead and put that in the chat after I'm done speaking, or if Isaias wants to put that in, that would be great as well. This is a program that is now really funded in a very robust way, and we're looking to service as many Mesa businesses as we possibly can. One of the proposals that we received was very creative in their delivery of curriculum, and their proposal alone, if we decide to go with the entire thing, and we're in the process now of evaluating all of the proposals for service, could serve over 1,000 businesses. So we're looking at webinars, obviously, as a delivery method, one-on-one consulting for businesses, either in person or through Zoom or Teams. We're also looking at creating resource guides with our partners. So what do you need a resource guide for in terms of resiliency and emergency preparedness, disaster planning, that sort of thing. So we're really excited, and we think that the technical assistance program will actually have an even greater, more profound effect on the small businesses that we're going to serve, because it will help train them, educate them, and become healthier businesses so that they will become more sustainable long term. And so when the next downturn happens, they'll be a little more prepared. One of the interesting things when we asked on the grant application if people would be interested in receiving technical assistance, more than half said yes, and then they were able to pick different categories that they wanted help in. E-commerce was, as you might imagine, very popular. There are still some businesses who do not have a web presence, or if they do, it's minimal, and they're not able to actually do business online. So in this new environment, you really need to be able to pivot and change your business model and try some new things. So we're looking forward to working with small companies. We'll be doing a large number of seminars on marketing, but really getting down into the granular level about what is search engine optimization and why is it important, and how do you get to really examine your company on Google, and what does that mean, and why is that good? So we have a lot of different tools that we're excited to launch. As far as the technical assistance program itself, there isn't a deadline for applications. It's first come, first serve, and we will be having the applications open for until the money is deployed. We have $1.5 million dedicated to this program, so we want to be able to serve as many businesses as we possibly can. The good news is the Office of Economic Development in Mesa has always been serving small businesses in a variety of capacities, but I think what we've done now is really embraced this small business development service mentality and made sure that it is a priority in our office, and we've repurposed staff and really emphasized the CARES program and been able to serve businesses probably better than we ever have before. So I think you'll see this change and new focus will be something that stays as a priority in our office over not just the next few months, but really years. Small businesses are the backbone of Mesa's economy, and we want to make sure that we continue to help them become even more healthy and sustainable long term. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them now, or Natasha, if you want to wait until the end of the presentations, that would be fine as well.
Thank you so much, Jay. I don't think we have any questions in the chat at the moment.
Okay.
But
Natasha, just want
yes.
to quickly, first of all, thank you, Jay. We really want small businesses to take advantage of this wonderful tool. So please, through the grapevine or through your contacts, let small businesses know that this is available. The fact that we're offering technical assistance grants is a wonderful thing for the city of Mesa and for our businesses in District 5. So please encourage those individuals or small businesses that need technical assistance to take advantage of this opportunity. And I believe the application process opens Monday, June 8th. Is that correct? Okay, so it opens June 8th. And so we want to get on board. Please take advantage of this. And thank you, Jay, for your hard work in this effort. I'm excited to hear who's going to be taking advantage of this opportunity.
Thank you.
And Jay, we do have one question. Karen Martinez is asking if her business can apply to provide services for the technical assistance program? Or are you only getting services from nonprofits at this point?
Right now, we are trying to work directly with our partners. If you want to be a service provider, I would suggest talking with the Mesa Chamber of Commerce and seeing what you could put together on, for the chamber, and then they can submit that as an opportunity.
Okay, thank you for that info, and thank you for all your hard work, Jay. I'll be curious to see also, like, I don't know if you're planning on looking at how many businesses from District 5 or from each of the districts applied for these assistance programs. It would be interesting to see. I don't know if we can even get that data, but hopefully we did get some businesses from this area that did apply.
We do have a heat map that shows where the applications have come from, and so I'll share that tomorrow with City Council, and then that will obviously be available to the public.
That's great. And if anyone, anyone who wants to watch the City Council meetings, they've been really wonderful. It's been nice to have them. I mean, they've always been accessible, but I think we're all more in the mode of watching things online, and so it's been really great to participate and see those council meetings over these last couple of months. Thank you, Jay. And with that, I want to go ahead and welcome Sally Harrison, who's the President CEO of the Mesa Chamber of Commerce. Sally's been a really great partner to the city, and like I mentioned earlier, has just been working tirelessly right now to try to help businesses in our community. So Sally, just give us a few updates and let us know what's going on and what you see from your side of things.
Thank you, Natasha, and thank you, Councilmember Luna, for inviting me back. I really want to just stress how honored the Chamber is to be working with economic development and really having such a big focus on our small businesses. It's what we do every day, but we've done a ton of outreach since COVID hit, and at this point, I think we're on like the end of round 2, making calls to our businesses and then also to other businesses in the community, not just chamber members, with a focus obviously on small business and our restaurants. Just a quick update on some of our activities, because obviously we do a lot of meetings and we do a lot of events, and we haven't been able to do those in person, so they've all been done on Zoom. And we've had a focus obviously on information, just trying to get information from some of our attorneys out to our business community on everything from the start of things and how to address that, how to close, and then now we're working on reopening procedures. We've got our future meetings coming up in the next week or so are focused on aging in healthcare, and that obviously includes our folks that are dealing with our senior communities. So that's pretty important right now. We've got our Mesa Financial Network meeting this week that Senator McSally will be on the call and addressing our bankers and those in the financial arena. She'll be addressing the PPP issues and talking about some of the issues that the banks have had on that, and then obviously on how PPP is being reported. I did want to mention that our Mesa Industry and Defense Council continues to meet every couple of weeks on Zoom, and really more than anything, those folks have stepped up and have continued to work coordinating PPE efforts, everything from masks to gowns and different supplies. And then we've had folks from MD Helicopters reach out and said that they couldn't necessarily do production, but they would be happy to do transportation. So they've made several trips to the Navajo Nation delivering those supplies that had been manufactured, which is really pretty awesome. We've continued to work with economic development on the reemergence program and the technical assistance program, and just look forward to getting through the next few weeks and getting the help out and the finances out, obviously. I did want to mention, I saw Kevin DeRosa from Advanced Champion Supply is on this call, and he was one of our members that we were able to reach out to when supplies became very short and hard to come by, and Kevin came through for a lot of our businesses. So I just wanted to give him a little shout out because it was really, it was right around the time that we had our last few baseball games for spring training, and he came through big time for one of the stadiums and then a handful of our businesses right after that. So that's kind of it from the chamber's perspective. We're all working from home still. Can't really open because we can't really do our meetings yet, but we're here for our businesses and continue to go in when needed to sign things like certificate of origins and notaries and that kind of stuff. So
Thank you so much, Sally. Councilmember Luna, I'm sure you have a few words to say.
Yes, please. Thank you for all your support, of course, especially in District 5. And we look forward to continued working with you once this pandemic is over so we can start doing some ribbon cuttings and get some activity going. So thank you so much for supporting our small businesses in District 5 and throughout the city of Mesa. We appreciate it.
it's our pleasure.
Thanks.
To do so.
And Sally, I would just like to ask, you know, I think one of the things I've noticed is, you know, a lot of businesses have had to cut staff back. And how are they managing with fewer employees? How are they managing now through curfew and through, you know, reopening phases? It seems to be that, you know, even on the national business side, we're seeing some open, some not. On the local business side, everybody trying to pivot and make adjustments. What are you hearing from your members about the challenges that they're facing right now? And I mean, is there anything we can all do to help?
Well, we do have on our website an area where our members can list if they have job opportunities, and it's surprising how many people are actually listing now. You know, some of them had layoffs, and now some of them are looking to bring staffing back, so that's a positive. We do keep that updated every day, so you know we've our members know about that opportunity, and I know other people look at that. It's one of our busiest pages on our website, so people do you know, reference that, and I think when they're looking at Mesa specifically, they know that that's a good resource.
Thank you so much, Sally. I really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
And right now we want to really open it up to any questions or any feedback that anybody has or anything that our businesses are seeing on the ground. And if you have anything you'd like to say, maybe just raise your hand and I can go ahead and you can unmute and we can hear from you. But council member and I, you know, and I really want to hear from you directly. What are you seeing on the ground? What are you seeing in your business? So we'll sort of open it up to any questions that anyone may have at the moment. Or if you have any questions for our panelists, we'd love to hear your questions as well. Any brave souls out there? All right, I'm glancing across.
Yeah, we're interested in knowing how the city of Mesa can assist you as you navigate through these choppy waters of the pandemic and now the curfew. But if there's any way that we can provide assistance or help you out in any way, please let us know. We want to keep in constant contact. We want to continue having this conversation and open communication with our members of the Alliance as well as our members in District 5. So please, if you don't have any questions now, please let Natasha know. You can communicate with her directly or my office, and we want to help you. We want to know how we can support you.
Natasha?
Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, I had a question for Jennifer Hill. So Jennifer, I'm going to call you out here a little bit, but given your expertise in the retail world, tell us what you're seeing in that market. What's changing from your standpoint? What do you see for demands? What do you see for future trends? Anything that you can share there?
You know, we just hosted an Arizona-specific ICSC, which is our International Shopping Center Council convention that's normally in May in Vegas every year. And since that was canceled, we had it locally, and we had about every webinar we had about 100 people. So all of the retailers, the brokers, tenants were discussing this and what they're seeing. And there are some changes that are going to happen it's been suggested that things like buffets may go away, although I do see some of the buffets, even in our, up in North Mesa, reopening. Starbucks, for instance, won't be doing any more cafes. Everything they do will have a drive-through from now on. Some of the essential businesses that we see that are weathering through this storm are definitely automotive. That automotive sector, whether it's a repair shop, they're blowing us up looking at new land opportunities. Restaurants are very focused on having short-term parking spaces that are right there for to-go, and anybody that was considering a drive-through now considers it essential. Those were some of the big topics. A lot of the brokers felt that the bigger national tenants pumped the brakes briefly, but that they're coming right back. They didn't pump the brakes for long. You know, they certainly have more of the budget to withstand these storms than a mom and pop would, but they're continuing to press forward, and we're navigating new real estate committee guidelines and financial hurdles, but yeah, things are still moving forward.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. It's interesting on the restaurants to, you know, are they really the sit-down restaurants? Are they going to be limited going forward, do you think? I know there's going to be a strong demand for drive-throughs, but also pickup windows on some of those. So those are things that I think we as a city have to pay attention to as well going forward.
Yeah, the restaurants are now trying to figure out what, you know, if they had 100 seats inside because of the social distancing, are they now looking at 50 seats inside? And what does that do to necessity of a patio? And given we live in Arizona, are we, you know, considering that as an option? So yeah, there's going to be some changes, but they're, you know, they're trying to
make it work. Thanks.
Thank you. Does anyone have any other questions for Bill? Or Jay or Sally? I mean, they're all a wealth of information. And I think, Bill, that was really helpful for us to see sort of what's happening in the Falcon District on an aerial view. Really great to see. Just thank you for doing that presentation and putting that effort in for us to all to understand what's happening in the Falcon District. And important for all of us as business owners to, you know, definitely talk about what's happening here and increase the hype. I think, Alex, you have a question?
Actually, not a question, but I just wanted to say, I have an IT business, and we've been helping a lot of companies operate remotely. And what we're finding is the number of breaches that have actually gone up. It's gone up 40% since people are operating remotely. So that's something that people need to start to be aware of. You know, they're logging into their computers at their office, and those are all clear. And they're all protected, but now from home, even one of our customers now was breached. So we're having to go and start to put it into their home computers.
Wow, that's really interesting. I mean, just all these different issues that we haven't, you know, thought about occurring. So that's really great. And I think what I'd love to see too, if you're on the call today and you're a business in our Falcon District, please do send us some information about your business. We'd be happy to feature you on our social media platforms on LinkedIn and Facebook, and, you know, just tell the other members about what you offer in the community. That way we can, you know, go from there as well and do some promoting on your business. I think Jay also had a question. I don't, Jay.
I just a comment on that. Yes, that is one of those areas. Cybersecurity is something that was also noted in the responses. Businesses in particular are very interested in how to make sure their business is safe, but their employees are staying safe in the cyber world, working from home. So that is one of those technical assistance areas that we know we will have businesses interested in participating in, and not necessarily doing one-on-one consults, although I think that will be a deliverable sort of after an initial webinar. When you, just that statistic alone, you know, 40% of those of us working from home have had breaches. It's such a staggering statistic. And but then as an employee, how do I find the right software to protect my home system? How do I make sure that my other staff are also protected? So I think that's a great topic that should be included in our offerings on the technical assistance side.
Well, and that may even be a great future topic for a webinar that we host through Falcon Business Alliance, is talking about cybersecurity. You know, it's something that a lot of us just sort of, some of us really are living day to day thinking about, and others of us are just taking for granted that we're on this Zoom call and not really even worrying about it. So that's great. And I didn't realize that that the technical assistance program would offer also support with cybersecurity. That's great to know.
Yes.
Any other questions now that we're getting warmed up here from our guests or our panelists? Well, we want to just thank you all again so much for participating today. To Bill, Jay, and Sally, and of course, Councilmember Luna, thank you again for your continued support with our Falcon Business Alliance. We're really, like, as I mentioned, we're in infancy stage. We're working to grow. We're looking ahead to the next couple of years of how we can grow this organization to be a strong support to one another as we go forward. In the interim, please always, we encourage everyone to join the Mesa Chamber of Commerce. That is a great organization to be a part of, and Sally does a really great job. So Councilmember Luna, I'll let you do the final remarks.
Sure. Thank you again, once again, to our distinguished panelists. Of course, our Economic Development Department, both Bill and Jay, as well as the Chamber of Commerce. Thank you so much for constantly supporting our effort as we work with our small businesses here in District 5. We want to continue this discussion. We hopefully will have another webinar shortly, and we want this conversation to continue as we move forward. So again, working together, we grow stronger together. So thank you so much for your participation, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you, everyone, again. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.